Welcome back to the seventh rotation. We are exactly a week off of the Summit League tournament today, and here with Coach Christi Posey to recap last week and talk about the postseason opportunity that the Roos have in front of them. So, Coach, thanks for coming back a second time this season. I'm glad you're not tired of me yet.
No, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, Maddie, and always a pleasure to talk about our team.
Absolutely. Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. So I do want to start with the Summit League tournament. I've had about a week to reflect on that. What are your thoughts kind of post Summit League play, season and tournament?
Still working through that. It was the highest of highs and then the lowest of lows in a really quick amount of time. And hats off to Omaha for hanging in and battling and coming back and beating us the last three. But this one is going to leave a mark for a bit, and we just got to work through it and move forward, because now we have an opportunity to continue our season and play together and hopefully keep grinding and having exciting volleyball be the product of hard work and good connection and good mojo. We are, it was tough, and we just made too many errors against a good team in the third set and at end game, and they took advantage of it, and then had a bad start in the fourth, and some bounces didn't go our way, but we didn't do the things that we needed to do. So that's the risk of playing this game and playing in any sporting event, is the risk of disappointment, but the opportunity to be triumphant and joyful, as our players and our staff have been able to experience 22 times this season. And I'm really proud of that. And I tried to help our kids understand that one match doesn't define their season, whether it be a win or whether it be a loss. And so, we're nose to the grindstone again and preparing for a new team and a new opportunity. And so nobody can take away the fact that they won the conference and, put themselves in a great position in the conference tournament, getting the number one seed, first time in program history. And so I'm really, really proud of their grit and determination throughout the season. And so we're looking forward to a new day and going to give it our all come Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you know that you wanted to take the NIVC bid, or was that kind of a conversation? Like, what went into that decision?
From the start of the season, we wanted to put the idea out there that we were going to play in the postseason. If we put ourselves in a situation that we would be invited or we would earn that right, we were talking about that from the get-go. It wasn't our only focus, obviously, but it was certainly within conversation from time to time about us being in the postseason. We want that to be a standard here, and so we have to get to a point where, hey, we're playing through November, into December, and that's just life in Kansas City with our volleyball team. And so the way that the NIVC works, you've got to have that conversation prior to the conference tournaments. And so we put ourselves in that position if they deemed us worthy, so to speak. And so you have to do all of that prior to even starting to play in the conference tournament. So we did that and just in case, or, however it was going to work out. So here we are, and excited for an opportunity.
Yeah, so many teams don't take that NIVC bid, and I don't know why. I think it's dumb. I think everyone should play in it. Why would you not? Why would you not? And then complain about not being in the postseason? That makes no sense to me. So I'm very glad that you took it, and I'm very glad that the Coyotes took theirs. as well. So let's talk about Tulsa. The Tulsa Hurricane is a team that beat ORU. And they also lost to Wichita State twice. So a little ironic that they're now also being sent back to Wichita State. I'm sure they're hungry for another chance at the Shockers, but they have to go through you to do that. What are kind of your points of emphasis for this match tomorrow?
Well, I think just getting back into a rhythm since it's been a little while, since we've played. So, trying to compete in practice as much as we can in real life situation. And then just knowing that I have a history with Coach Ramatowski. I don't know if you know that. We go way back to when she was just a youngster. So her sister, Jamie Mathewson, now Jamie Heath, was a player of ours that I recruited at Kansas. And then Lauren, a very, very good bro at K-State. So that family I've known for a long time. And then watching Lauren kind of grow into the coaching roles. We competed against her when she was an assistant at UTRGV when we were in the WAC. Just watched her career, having good conversation with Susie Fritz to tell me that, hey, Lauren's a kid to watch. She's going to be a really good coach someday. Obviously, she's done a great job with that Tulsa team in her first year. But you always knew that she was going to have success. She was just, born to do it, and then worked really hard to put herself in that position. So I'm excited for her and excited for maybe the new rivalry that we may create after this. They're certainly within the region that we can play, maybe yearly, a home and away over 2 years. But so and then there's a kiddo that we recruited, Kaylee Cassidy, that we hope that we could convince her to stay in Kansas City. They're number one outside and gets a lot of swings. And she told us politely that she was not going to stay in Kansas City and wanted to do something different. So we respect that when people do that. We're saddened by it, but she's had a great career there and certainly a great season. And then I just think they've got really, nice pieces all across. I think their bro is good. I think the kiddo, the setter is a senior and does some really nice things and runs that team well. And then they've got great quickness and athleticism in the middle. And then another senior on the right. I just think they're really well balanced, well rounded. And, just knowing Lauren's personality, they're going to fight you and battle just like she did as a player and as a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. What you said about, maybe starting a new rivalry, I was going to say, what's Tulsa, like 5 hours from Kansas City? So it's certainly doable. So we'll have to see what happens. Well, in the Summit League tournament, defending was really important, at least from my perspective. But Tulsa allows like 13.7 kills per set. Which is more than you guys are currently averaging. So there's room there to take advantage of offense. How important do you think that's going to be?
Oh, incredibly important. We're always working on first ball kills and not to give a team that, because they dig pretty well, not to give a team that can keep the rally going, that opportunity very often. So that's important to us. So obviously pass serve is the first and foremost thing that we always work on, trying to win that battle first. And I know that Tulsa's played at Wichita State and, we haven't played there. So we'll get a chance to see what that looks like and depth perception and different things. I mean, the net's going to be the same height, the dimensions are the same, but sometimes the background is just a little bit different. But we'll have an opportunity to see kind of what that looks like for our passers. And I think just balanced offense is what we try to do as best we can when and I think obviously, like everybody, when you're in system, we can really play to our strengths, which is speed and some versatility, and that's what needs to have us get the chance to be successful.
I totally just lost my place. Oh, here we are. My bad. All right. So the Roos, I guess, had one winning season program history before you came to Kansas City. And, this season you reached the Summit League Championship for the first time since I was born. I don't know if you know that, but
thank you, Maddie.
Yep, I was literally 3.5 months old the last time the Roos were in the Summit League Championship. You reached 20 plus wins this season, and there's a lot to be proud of. But what's something that you're maybe more proud of, or dare I say the most proud of this season?
I guess just I think maybe the turnaround, going from where we were last year, and there was no shortage of fight and battle and want to and grit with that team. And we just didn't quite, put it all together when we needed to put it together. And so I think just having that in the back of our minds with the kids that were here and kind of went through that. And then with the just kind of helping the new players to understand, hey, we want to make it different this season. And so just keeping focused, and every team goes through adversity in their seasons, right? I mean, we had 3 matches where we didn't have Leah, and obviously the anchor to our defense, and that's tough, but we weathered the storm and came out okay, and we're able to then kind of find our footing again and move forward. And every team across the country has moments like that, or sometimes, unfortunately, longer than moments, right? And so I just am so proud of our team for this was our goal, and we reached our goal. Yes, we fell short of it in that particular match, and that's really disappointing. But to look at the body of work over time, I think speaks to just the character and fortitude of our players. And I'm so blessed to have wonderful assistants, Will McCall and Maddie Wren and Topper Meyer, just they constantly doing what they can do to help our team be successful in all areas. And Maddie, in a mid-major, you don't have a staff of 8 coaches and a technical advisor and a director of ops. Our staff's doing all of those things. And I'm not feeling sorry for us, because there's a lot of people in the same situation that we are, that you just do it because that's what you need to do, and that's what the team needs. And so I'm really proud of that group being kind of the foundation for our team to really have the chance to go on and flourish and be successful. That's what we want to do. We obviously want to lift and elevate how our team can really be at their best. And I felt like our staff really did a nice job of that this year.
Well, my last question for you was going to be, how does it feel to be Coach of the Year? But I feel like you would probably give the same answer that you just gave me. I think I know you well enough to know that. But if you have anything to add.
I really don't. It's such a great honor, and I'm so grateful that people have recognized the group work, right? And so just because I'm at the at the top, that's the award that's given, but so many things have gone into that, and so many people are responsible for that. So it is. I was thrilled to have that happen for Maddie, her first season, here and back, and she gets to experience. She was so elated when we beat St. Thomas because that secured that we were at least in a pack of first place, and we were co-champs, and just to see that joy in her face, and then Will's been with me for a long time, and we haven't reached that pinnacle before with him, and so that was exciting as well. So it is so much more than just that just everybody's such a big part of it. And the team, we wouldn't have had that opportunity had the team not just taken on that goal and said, hey, we're gonna do this.
Yeah, I mean, Will being, with you for a long time, and Maddie obviously playing and being part of the program and coming back, certainly speaks to what you said, multiple people kind of pouring in and building. So that is fantastic. The Roos will take on the Tulsa Hurricane of the AAC at 3:30 local tomorrow. Winner plays at 1:30 Friday. You can catch both of those matches on ESPN Plus. Coach, you have a tradition here. Would you like to speak yourself out?
I do, Maddie, but can I say one more thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want you to know that 100 years ago, I started my collegiate volleyball career at Wichita State because I played there for 2 years, 1977 and 1978. And so I played in that arena. Back then, it was the Roundhouse. It was Henry Levitt Arena. And obviously, they've updated it and made it much fancier. And I haven't been in it since that time. But it'll be a sweet homecoming, just symbolically, because you kind of go full circle. And so it's probably not the original floor. I get that, but it is symbolically that floor that I started this kind of journey, and that will have good meaning for me. The people at Wichita State were wonderful, and we had some joy. We didn't win a lot of matches, but we had some great joy and developed great connections and good teammates. And we had a following of some math students or math GAs they were volleyball heads, and they were international students, and there were like 6 of them. That's about the only people that came to our matches besides our family. And so it was with great zest that we would try to win matches for that group that were so faithful to our journey at the time. But that this will have some great meaning for me personally, and certainly to be together with our team another potential 2 weeks or beyond that is really rewarding, because this group is special. So with that being said, I will say, Roo up!
Roo up. Volleyball fans, welcome back again. Second interview today, so you're getting spoiled. We're here with Coach Buttermore of the Omaha Mavericks, ahead of the program's first NCAA Tournament appearance. Coach, congrats on the Summit League tournament title, and thanks for coming back a second time.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Awesome. I love to hear it. First, obviously, we have to recap the Summit League tournament. 2 5-set wins. The latter was a reverse sweep over a really cohesive Kansas City team. And as much as I am a Kansas City fan, I have to be honest. After the 3rd set, I knew what was coming. You guys always find a way to win. I didn't have a good feeling for Kansas City. I kind of had a feeling that you were going to pull it out. So congrats on that. You spoke in a presser recently about referencing Rocky Balboa with your team. Talk just a little bit about the tenacity and finding ways to win in those tough situations.
Yeah, I think it was, the whole season reminded me of that. And I thought that the match last Tuesday reminded me of it as well, being down 2-0 and some hard fought points, Kansas City dug just about everything there for a while. And I thought, fighting through that, we weren't always successful in those moments earlier in the year, and so being able to get back up and keep moving forward. And we kept moving forward through the end of that 3rd set. And the 3rd set could have gone totally different, after losing the first 2, and the first 2 was pretty hard, even though the score wasn't as close. There was a lot of long rallies. They won just about every long rally. And that could have gone completely different. So I was real proud of our fight in set 3, and just keep moving forward, keep punching.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that I apparently didn't ask you about earlier this season that I came across, I'm a fan of when teams run a 2-setter rotation or make use of multiple setters, and you've been doing that. The past couple of matches, especially Ivy Luke and Olivia T's assists, ratio has been pretty even. So just talk to me about their similarities, differences, and what kind of goes into that decision to make use of both of them.
Yeah, anytime you run a 6-2, you have to have 2 good setters. That's the first ingredient, and then you have to have a reason to do the extra subbing, and that's having good pin hitters, and we have a lot of good pin hitters, a lot of arms we want to get on the court. You'd hate to have, and we have a player like Brinley who didn't play the last few matches as much, and she has a good arm as well. So even with that, we feel like you can't leverage everything, but how can you leverage as much of your talent as you can? But it starts with having two good setters, and they've done a great job of really, for freshmen, handling some of the tactical demands. College volleyball from a setting position is a lot different than high school and club. And, your decision making matters as much as your ability to locate the ball. And if you're making silly decisions, you're just throwing away points. And in college, you don't get those points back. And so their development there with Ted has been really good.
Awesome. I love to hear that. Let's talk about the task at hand. You've got KU tomorrow. Wasn't sure personally where Omaha was going to get sent. For a while, I thought Lincoln. A while, I thought Creighton. But I was like, well, they played both of them. So then I was like, it's got to be Madison, Wisconsin. And then it wasn't. And here you are with a team that you've seen. So do you feel like, my question is, do you feel like having played KU is helpful, or is it more of a clean slate postseason, or is it a little bit of both?
Yeah, it is, if it's helpful to both teams, right? So it's the same. I don't know, if we have an advantage, so do they. So it does. If there is an advantage, it's we are playing a much different lineup than we were then, but it's not like they don't have video and stats from our last 5 matches available to them to look at that stuff. So I don't know what advantage can be gained or not. I think just having been here last year, I think for our returners, they know what the venue is like, what to expect when they get here, what the crowd is like. It'll be taken up a couple notches from what it was in a September tournament. Certainly for the first round of the NCAA tournament. So that will be different. But as much as we could know, we do know kind of what the lay of the land.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank God I got credentialed, because the I don't know if you saw, KU sold it out in 1 minute.
Yeah. It was
12:01 p.m. I had tickets in my cart at 12:04, and apparently that was a lie, because when I went to check out, they were gone. So yeah, I'm happy to be able to be there, but it's definitely going to be wild. And Penn State travels well, too. So there's going to be extra people in the arena. What do you think the biggest challenge is going to be?
Kansas,
in general.
Yeah. They're just a good team. I don't know where they were picked, but they end up being in the top 20 this year. They have their setter is very good. I thought she kind of got it robbed in the all region last year, and voting. And I think she's a really good player, a competitor. And they have a couple good pin hitters. They have a right side that's really hurt us both last 2 times we played them. And then they have an outside that's very physical, as well as a couple servers that can really do damage as well. So, their middles, everybody's athletic. There's not a bad athlete on the court. So, we have our work cut out for us. I do, physically we do probably match up better with them than we do with Wisconsin, but that's the same for everybody in the country. So, but that part of the matchup we like a little bit better, but. They do have a couple of players that have really had good matches against us in the past, and they're going to be swinging pretty confident until we can hopefully put a little doubt in their mind, touch them at the net or getting a couple digs.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was looking at stats. Now that you mentioned, that defense aspect in the second set, which was the set when you guys played earlier this year, I think it was 25-21. It was the closest set that you had where you looked pretty decent. And I think KU hit like 438 in that set. You guys hit 323, and then in the third set hit negative. So how important is it going to be offensively to just, stay consistently productive? And what do you think the key to that is?
Well, I think the key is not letting them hit 400. I think that's not a recipe for success. So we always want to hang our hat on defense. We want, whether it's blocking or digging or serving as part of that as well. We want to keep those hitting percentages down. and let our offense get a chance to work into things if it's not clicking right away. So, and especially on the road, especially in the postseason, when you can do that defensively, you can keep momentum from getting away from you, right? Or you can start to see doubt in their hitters. And I think we saw a little bit of that in the final. They won all the long rides, but both of us hit a low percentage for a long time in that match. So if we can keep those percentages down, I do think our tempo can score points. We're physical enough to score against anybody in the country, but we need to keep the momentum even or on our side with our defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And, obviously at this point in the season, don't want to look ahead too much, but it's likely that Penn State beats Yale. So should you get to Friday, Penn State's a team that hits hard and often as well. So that defense is going to be paramount for sure.
Yep.
All right. I promised you I wouldn't quiz you, but we are going to have a little fun. I don't know if you're familiar with the Red Army account on Twitter. The Red Army, Omaha Superfan. I don't know the actual name or face of this person, but they're fantastic. They've interacted with the podcast account a little bit. And so I have a few pictures of you here.
He's going to be so thrilled that this is on the podcast.
Yeah. I did not ask permission, but Twitter is a public space. So thank you, Red Army, for this. This is from the, I think some of them are from the night you played Kansas City, but most of them are from the Denver match. So this first one, this is you when you were down 13-12 in the fifth set against Denver. So I want you to make note of your facial expression or lack thereof, because that's what Twitter is making note of. So down 13-12, fifth set. This is you when Denver was allegedly at 14-12, when you decided to have the clutchest of clutch challenge of all time. And you're awaiting the challenge result. This is the bench's reaction to you winning the challenge and now being tied at 13 in the fifth set. We have some joy, some enthusiasm, some expression. And this just absolutely kills me, Coach. This is you after winning the challenge.
Sure it's not the same picture?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not the same picture. I double checked that it's not the same picture. Your face moves a tad bit. The angle's a little bit different. But that's the point. No, the wildest sequence of events, you pulled this challenge card at the most opportune time that probably won you the match, to be honest. No change in facial expression. So I don't know how you do that. I think it's also funny that, the next night you go and play Christi Posey, who does everything but sit on the bench with this look on her face and is very expressive. And you're just kind of chill and low key. What goes through your head in these moments?
Oh, lots of things. I think everything else does. I just don't show it. I don't. What you always have to be conscious. What is your body language showing? And I think when I was younger, I used to pace up and down the sideline, but I think I would just get angrier and angrier as I pace. So I don't. People assume, I don't know what they assume, but maybe me showing no emotion is much more constructive than the emotional responses I would normally have. So that's part of it. And just, we're what's next? Like during these moments we're talking about, all right, if we get the challenge, we're going to do this. If we don't get the challenge, we're doing this. So, really, you can't get wrapped up. And my job is not to get wrapped up in the exact moment of what's going on. Right. And that's for other people, and our players need to enjoy that part. But my job is not to do that. And so I'm trying as much as I can. I get distracted too, stoic face nonetheless, trying to, think a step ahead. What do we need to do next? What is really okay? We don't like this, or we do like this, but what is really going on out there? And try to be useful in as much as I can during a match.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, usually, obviously this is like the third time I've interviewed you, so I'm comfortable at this point. But when I first started doing this for basketball and volleyball, there was certain coaches, like Christi, that I'm like, oh, super fun, like outgoing. You can tell their personality from their bench, perspective or reactions. But with you, I really just didn't know. I didn't know what your personality was going to be like the first time. But I'm glad I've gotten some expression and some emotion.
Yeah. No, I had an old AD who used to say, Jerry Schmuddy, who said, practice is for the coaches, games are for the players. And that's not to say if you show emotion, you're trying to take something from the players. And maybe, there's an argument I could give more emotion to the players. But that I try to keep that in mind too, So practice me is a lot different than game me, So I would say that both directions emotionally. So there's a little more going on in practice, but yeah, there's a reason behind it, whether it's the right reason or not. Something you always evaluate every year. But
yeah, absolutely. Well, certainly not questioning. Just noting that it provided some great social media entertainment.
Yeah, I'm glad we had it's. Yeah. That's
glad we had this fun. Chat.
Yeah.
I do have a couple more pictures. One more slide. This is you with the challenge poster that a student made, and also the McCormick spices. That is just top tier.
Yeah, they have some great signs, and I think I normally wouldn't take a picture like that. I think I jinxed myself because I lost all my challenges the next night. So
yeah.
I was 0 for 7. It felt like I don't think you get 7 challenges. I asked the down ref if he had one I could borrow at one point, but yeah, no, they did a good job being creative with those signs for sure.
Yeah, I do just want to prompt you a little bit. The student section and the fans in general in Baxter and on the road this year, that's been a constant thing I've seen on Twitter from your account, from the Mavs account. Just talk a little bit about the support that you've received.
Yeah, no, we've grown our attendance a lot. Credit goes to Mike West and his team, our sport admin, and the external team, and everything they do to help promote it. And to our girls, being willing to get out in the community and do more events, and then to Bill Pickett and his team for rounding up the students, and that doesn't happen without people putting in hard work and believing in what we're doing. And then our fans for showing up, both at home and we traveled really well. We had a loud crowd in the finals, and it turned into kind of almost a home crowd for us in Vermilion on Saturday. So we had really good interest in the tickets for this match tomorrow. So in the allotment we had, so just really humbled and appreciative of the support we've been getting the last few years.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got one last question for you here. You obviously came over from Hastings. Some people don't know coach history, so I like to put that out there. You have a very impressive NAI resume, multiple GPAC titles, a natty in there, a national championship. How do you communicate, about your postseason and championship experience to some of the players on your team that maybe don't have, the veteran status or the postseason or the intensity level that you're going to be walking into tomorrow?
Yeah. This year we've done a little different. We talked about embracing the moment, and in the past throughout my coaching career, we really tried to routine. And, either J.R. Tolkien or C.S. Lewis said things will happen the same way twice, and they don't. And so I thought we needed to change it up a little bit this year in the message. And we really talked about embracing the moment even more than we had in the past. None of these messages would sound new to our alumni, but probably we talked about it more and embracing the moment. And, this is why he chose Omaha volleyball, is to come play in big moments like this. So, that's so I would say it's actually we've moved it a little different than maybe the way I've talked about it in the past at Hastings or even here.
Awesome. Well, Coach, congrats on the Summit League Championship, the NCAA Tournament Appearance. I'll see you in Lawrence in about 24 hours.
Sounds good. We'll look forward to seeing you down here, Madison.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.